Good afternoon, Husky Nation. Mark Krebs here from the Husky Report with your 2020 Husky Football preview. Well, let's take a quick recap of last season. Last year, the Huskies ended their season in the first round of the Class B playoffs when they fell to St. Thomas More out in Rapid City. The Huskies ended their season with a record of 4-5, but however, that record is not indicative of how much the Huskies were in these games. The lone blowout loss that they faced last year was suffered at the hands of Bridgewater Emory-Easton in week 1 of the campaign in Elk Point, 48-7. Now, Bridgewater Emory-Easton, or BEE, they were the eventual state champions in Class 11A. The Huskies open their season this year in week 0 on August 21st as they will take to the road to begin the season and travel to Mount Vernon to take on the Mount Vernon Plankinton Titans with a depleted core of players. Now, the Huskies lose 6 seniors from the 2019 squad, including wide receiver and defensive back Miles Harity, quarterback defensive back Ethan Hammett, wide receiver defensive back and kicker Demiris Nuno, wide receiver linebacker Josh Lehman, wide receiver linebacker Kella Mahin, and running back and linebacker Brody Weevil. Now, what's going to make this preseason a lot more interesting, too, is the fact that there are going to be 2 young sophomore quarterbacks who are going to be fighting it out for the starting spot now that Ethan Hammett has graduated. Noah McDermott is a 5'9", 150-pound quarterback and defensive back, and Alex Scarman, who was listed last year at 5'8", 115. Those are the 2 players that are going to be more than likely fighting for that starting spot during the 2020 season. Now, what Coach Jake Terry is going to do, I'm not sure if he's going to split time between his 2 young quarterbacks or if one of them is going to get more reps. It's all up in the air right now, and we'll talk to Coach Terry about that later on when we get rolling with our football coverage. Now, I said this is more of a depleted core of players coming back. The Huskies are going to return 9 seniors, 3 juniors, and 17 sophomores from the 2019 squad, which means there are going to be a lot of younger players looking for the older guys for guidance and to help lead the team to victory this season. A total of 29 players will return from last year's roster. So as you may think about it as a building year perhaps, or a rebuilding year, this is something that the Huskies have to look forward to, developing some more talent for the next couple of seasons as well. Now, some of the key returning players include seniors Riley Schmitz, Tyler Gehring, Will Gary, Skylar Swadek, Andrew Neerman, and Drake Peed, and junior Jacob Lichtenberg. So we're going to see how well those guys all come out and play and are able to show leadership to the younger Huskies coming up the ranks from JV into the varsity squad. Now, taking a look at the way that the Huskies played their season last year, this was a run-first offense, only throwing for a total of 270 yards in the 9 games that they played last season. So the Huskies averaged 30 yards of passing per game. However, the offense was able to rush for 2,079 yards on the year. So that shows how much Coach Jake Terry relies on the run for the Huskies. And in Class 11A, 11B, 9-man football, you're going to see a lot more run because the field is going to be more open. You don't see very many passing quarterbacks in any of these levels. Now, the Huskies do return their leading rusher from the 2019 squad in Riley Schmitz and their leading receiver, Tyler Gehring. Schmitz had 727 total rushing yards last year with 5 touchdowns on the season. And Gehring was able to rack up 128 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. He was also 2 of 2 for passing for a total of 3 yards. So Ethan Hammett threw for 267 of the Huskies' 270 passing yards. Tyler Gehring gets the other 3. Coming back on defense for the Huskies is Schmitz, who is also the team leader in tackles with 95.5 on the season and a sack. Drake Peed also returns to the team on defense, where he led the team in 2019 by sacking the quarterback 7 times and notching 10.5 tackles for a loss on his defensive belt as well. And I'd like to say a quick thing to Drake. Congratulations on your offer to the United States Military Academy at West Point as a thrower in track and field. We're going to be watching and waiting for your decision all year long. So congratulations on that and all of the offers that you've received thus far. Now, Gehring last year also had 4 interceptions on the year and had a kick return for a touchdown, so he is able to figure out a way to get around the defense and the special teams, and that gave him a total of 3 touchdowns on the season as well. Now, during the 2019 season, 3 of the 5 losses for which the Huskies had were decided by 7 points or less. Again, I talked about the 2 losses earlier in the year. The first one, 48-7 to BEE, but the second blowout loss, and I wouldn't really call this a blowout, was in the Class 11A first round against St. Thomas More, where the Huskies fell 23-3 on that cold and blustery day over in Rapid City. Getting back to Bridgewater Emory Ethan really quickly, they defeated Winner in 21-14 in the championship game, which was held at the Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium in Brookings at South Dakota State University. So we know that all the teams are looking forward to getting back to Vermilion and in the Dakota Dome. The Huskies will begin their season this year with 2 road games, the first up against Mount Vernon Plankinton, and then the Huskies travel to Bridgewater Emory Ethan to take them on in their second game of the season before returning to the friendly confines of Husky Stadium, where they will play the Sisseton Redmen on September 4th. The remaining schedule for the Husky includes trips to Sioux Valley and McCook Central Montrose, and home dates with Beersford, Garrettson, and the Flandreau Flyers. The football season will kick off for the Huskies on August 21st this year. And I did a video about a month ago about matchups to watch for this fall. I just wanted to recap that quickly. The 3 games that I think really need to be watched are that game against Mount Vernon Plankinton, the game against Beersford, as the Huskies spoiled their homecoming last year with the 27-26 victory, and finally the Week 7 game at McCook Central Montrose, where the Huskies are looking to get some revenge there as they fell in their home finale last year 32-28. Now Riley Schmitz and Ethan Hammond each had breakout games of that night, rushing for over 100 yards in the game each. And Schmitz also had 14 defensive tackles and a pick 6 in the game, as that Husky comeback bid fell just short as they fall 32-28. So again, the Husky football season is going to kick off on August 21st as they travel to Mount Vernon to take on Mount Vernon Plankinton. So thank you very much for your support of Husky Athletics all year long, and stick around later this month for more previews of the cross-country schedule, and along with a boys golf schedule and preview as well. For the Husky Report, I'm Mark Krebs. Thank you and have a wonderful and safe rest of your summer, and I will talk to you again soon. Go Huskies!